How's that banana?
Okay, let me tell you.
We've talked about this on the podcast before. Are we getting into mukbang?
Mukbang?
Sure.
Is that where you go to different restaurants and you eat things?
Mukbang is like a whole subgenre of specifically ASMR things where a person eats food on camera and mic.
Oh. I've been doing mukbang my whole life. Well, I guess ever since COVID. I love to eat on camera. I like to watch the way my teeth go up and down.
Wow.
I like that. In love with movies, in love, in love,
Dani and Nick.
in love with movies. Da da da. Hey there, movie lovers.
Welcome to In Love with Movies.
I'm Dani.
And I'm Nick. And what do we do here, Dani? What do we do on this podcast, In Love with Movies?
Truly, Nick, it's been about 8 months, so I can't remember.
9.
The same amount of time it took me to grow a baby
Yep.
is how long we've taken since we recorded a podcast.
That's true. That's true. For listeners, movie lovers, please forgive us as we shake off the rust and remind ourselves how we do this here. So, what is it, the thing that we do here?
Oh, I think we talk about love and perchance movies.
There you go.
Nicholas.
It's all in the title. That's right. That's right. That's very good. Very good. Yeah. So, as we said, it's been 9 months. It's been a minute. I know that as we started this quote unquote season this year, last September, this is now the month of August.
Oh my goodness.
When we started this season last September, we sort of started off by saying, hey, we're going to try to still give you, a regular amount of content, probably 12 to 15 episodes for the year, but we're going to do more in some months and less in some others, but we're going to be around, so stay tuned.
And then we lied to you guys.
I knew we might have some months where we had it off. I would never in my wildest dreams have predicted it would take us 9 months after our November episode to come back.
Listen, it's been rough. There's been a lot going on.
Yes. In our worlds, in the world, it's a very different place. It's a very, very different place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last time we recorded this podcast, not to make it all about kids, but like... people listening, kids do change things. Hayden would have been 8 months old.
Correct. Since then, I was going to say, and we can put a pin in this because I figured we could do it as part of our podcast for life updates. Since then, we've had a first Christmas. We've had a first birthday. We've gone to daycare and we've come back from daycare. So lots has happened. Lots has happened in that time.
Lots has happened.
Yeah.
Nick and I are still married, though. So...
Despite some ups and downs there, too, which is, I think, prone to happen in any marriage, as we've discussed before on this podcast, but especially maybe in the first years of a young one's life. Yeah. And ironically, though, as much as he elevates, I think, every stressor that we're having in our lives, he's not really probably been the primary source of stress for the two of us, or the sources of tension that have created things for us. So.
No, as you mentioned, the world be wild out here, my friend.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, without getting too much into it, and I think anybody who's listened to our back catalog probably knows a lot of our opinions on some things, but, around November when things got sent, there was elections and things, and then we were like, well, it's holidays, you know what I mean? We're just going to let the holidays roll. We had a Christmas episode that kind of fell through, and we're like, no big deal. We said we wouldn't have all. Then January came, and there were some things happening with your work at the time that sort of literally coming back from holidays in January. It was as if
I got a new job, basically.
Well, you had the same job, but then you had to do the jobs of 2 other people that were no longer there. Mm-hmm. And those were both including jobs that required you to be in a physical location, which was not the case for your job as it existed. Mm-hmm. So you suddenly were doing 3 people's jobs, including having to be at a physical location, which was sort of part of the reason you took that job was that, like, you knew you were going to have a 1-year-old kid. You didn't want to have to be at a location. So, yeah. And then it took us a while to get through that and transition to the next thing. And then in that time frame, I had 2 weeks where I suddenly didn't have a job effectively, thanks to some
Thanks,
choices.
Obama.
Very much not thanks to Obama. Although I get the joke. So the government. I work as a government contractor. We've said that on here before, and there were some choices with regards to things that were believed about the contracts that I work on. That individuals had to be convinced were not the case so that they could be reactivated. Nothing has changed. I'm actually still doing exactly the same job for exactly the same contracts. Just there was a 2-week period where we were very scared and thought that was going to suddenly happen overnight, that it wasn't going to exist. So that was stressful. And that was right around the time, because it was literally you had decided. Sorry, I'm trying to get through the summarization quickly. And apologies.
So I should have done it.
Everyone, you're not wrong. Everyone else, also apologies. You may have just heard a siren go by. Sorry about that. It always bugs me with the audio. Anyway, so we also had that happen, and it was the same week that I was you were going to give your notice for your previous job. Mm-hmm. Where you then, instead, we found out that I effectively overnight didn't have a job, and we weren't sure for 2 weeks whether it was coming back or not. And we've been a little scared since then, regardless. But eventually, we got comfortable enough and felt like our budget and plans worked well enough for you to step away from your full-time employment. So I'm going to shut up and let you talk about that for a few minutes.
Oh. I stepped away from my full-time employment. No, Nick and I made a very big decision, and I made a personal decision to leave full-time employment, which has been tough for me mentally.
Yeah.
Because, I dropped a huge stressor in my life. My job was crushing my soul. There were times where Nick would walk into the kitchen and I would just be crying as I'm cooking, or, having anxiety attacks while I'm also in a yoga class, which is like, that's not supposed to happen. So I made the decision to leave that job, and I realized that I've worked for the past 13 years, and so that's been my identity. And so it was a very interesting life change to have to realize, like, maybe work isn't always your identity. So I've been trying to find a new identity while also, spoiler alert, being a mom. So we pulled Hayden from daycare because daycare was crushing his soul a little bit.
Yeah, it was quite literally one half of one of our paychecks was kind of the equivalent of what daycare cost us. And we realized that because he kept getting sick, it felt like it wasn't worth it. I did the math one time, and he never, from the time that he was in daycare to the time that we pulled him out, he never went more than 10 days. 10 days without having to be taken out of daycare because of illness, that we then had to find alternative means to take care of him anyhow, which kind of defeats the purpose of spending so much money for us.
Yeah, it was very hard. And then by the time we picked him up from daycare every day, we'd get like 90 minutes with him before he had to go to bed. And I didn't realize how much I would love this child. And I just love him more every day. So I'm very lucky to finally not be the breadwinner.
Hey now. I edged ahead before this decision.
That's right. For about a year. And Nick is working, and I am part-time managing a yoga studio and doing some consulting and doing some coaching and full-time momming. And, today was one of those days where I was like, dang, that was tough.
Yeah.
That was a rough decision because Hayden is now turning into a toddler, but a toddler that can't talk, but bites. So we're entering tantrum era and fall on your face every 3 minutes era, and ooh, look, something hot. Oh, look, something spiky. I'm gonna put it in my mouth. Ooh, dirt. Let me lick that. I'm moving constantly.
Yep.
And 4 teeth at once are coming in.
Yeah.
He's in a sleep regression.
Yeah, this week has been rough. We have not, listeners, the last time we were talking to you, we were probably still in the thick of, most nights you don't get sleep. But there was this window where you eventually get to the point where your kid does, more or less, sleep through the night if you're lucky and if they're, aging and everything's going fine. And so then when they hit one of those sleep regressions, and when you suddenly go from, I'm getting, maybe it's up earlier than I'd like to, but, I'm getting from sometime around 9 or 10 p.m. until, at least 6 or 7 before he wakes up, to now it's like I'm waking up in the middle of the night at least once and waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning for the day.
No. He has not slept past 5. This past week.
Correct. Yeah. So that sucks. And it hurts more.
Yeah,
I will say, quick thing about his falling on his face, I just thought of it. At least the phase where he's falling on his face and losing his mind, like upset about it because it hurt, has gone away pretty quickly.
Yeah,
like
'cause
now
he
he's like,
falls
I fall on my
constantly.
face, and it's just like, yeah, I get up and dust myself off and I keep going.
Yeah, we taught him, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. That gets his butt right back up.
Yep, he starts dancing instead.
Yeah. So that was a quick
Recap.
10-minute life update of where we've been at.
Yeah, so listeners, as we're shaking the rust off, we've started to program for this next year, looking ahead. A couple of decisions that we're making, again, based upon life changes and things of that nature. We are going to stop doing seasons. So instead of me saying, it's season Y, I'm going to figure out the number, and we're going to start counting by number of episodes. We're somewhere above 50, I think, and we'll just go from there. We'll be basically where things work, and so this episode will be episode whatever. And then we'll just keep doing that. We do have plans to, now that things have become back to some semblance of normal, program out and do some recordings in advance, hopefully having an average of one per month. However, we're still going to stick to a loose schedule, not like specific days, because we want certain episodes to release on certain days of the month. For example, Danielle, we have buried the lead here.
Oh.
What movie are we discussing in the second half of this podcast today?
One of the most perfect movies ever made, Freaky Friday. The Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan version.
To be clear, yeah.
Yeah.
So, listeners may know that this movie has a sequel. It's coming out as of the time of this recording. We have not yet seen it.
1 week from today is when it officially releases.
And we are planning to drop this episode on that day in honor of its release, which is an example of us not releasing always on the same day of the month. We're going to instead try to schedule around things that are happening for whatever reason, for how we think it works with whatever the theme of that particular episode is.
It's very, truly having a kid changes your life, because Nick and I, early on in this podcast, which we've been doing it for like 6 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than that, actually, because it was 2018. We literally started it right before marriage. Anyway.
Our 7-year wedding anniversary is next month.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
God, we're closer to 10 years.
But there used to be a time where we got into fights
Yep.
because Nick said, we have to release it on this Tuesday or this.
That's accurate.
And now we're like, man, if it's 9 months in between, it's going to be 9 months. And also we have a Southern accent in that scenario.
Apparently. I think that without getting too much into it, and we've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, at the time we started this podcast, I was struggling for purpose in my life. I loved you, but that gave me reasons to enjoy my life. It didn't give me necessarily as much purpose. The job that I had, there was aspects to it that definitely gave me purpose, but I did not feel that on a daily basis. And then we had COVID, was a big part of this. So yeah, now we have Hayden. That is very much gives me purpose every single day. I don't have that lack. But this is still a fun thing we like doing. We like talking to other people about movies. This is, in the 9 months, listeners who've been listening for a long time won't be surprised that we have watched many fewer movies than we had on average for the 4 years prior to that.
Darn it.
So we're returning to, I want to get Danielle to watch movies with me, so we have to have the podcast back.
Yeah, and it's just a good way for us to connect. When you become a parent, maybe this is just us, I don't know, speaking from our experience and no one else's, there are days where I'm like, did I look at Nick today? I know we were in the same room, but sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if I looked him in the eye, because when do you have time to look at each other?
Truly.
Or talk to each other other than like, when was the last time he pooped? Have you cleaned his hair? I don't know.
Do you have eyes or do I have eyes right now on him?
Yeah. Have you seen the child and making sure he's not burning things down? So this is a nice way for us to reconnect. And, personally, I know Hayden's almost a year and a half, which is wild, but being a woman birthing a child takes a lot out of you. And I think, especially after I got resettled with my new couple of jobs, I finally feel like I'm getting, quote, my pink back. Which is, when flamingos give birth, they literally turn white because they lose their pink. And it takes a while for their feathers to come back to get that color. And so that's something it's a phrase that a lot of women use. After giving birth, you kind of lose yourself. You become a mom and you lose yourself. You become roommates with your spouse and you lose yourself. So this will be a nice way, as I'm finally getting my pink back, to reconnect with my spouse.
Yeah, and we've talked a little bit about this too. I mentioned ups and downs, and, you know, I think that's natural in any relationship, as I said, specifically with this too. And we've had conversations, though, where we're like, over the last 9 months, do we think that we stopped recording the podcast as often because we just weren't feeling it, we weren't feeling connected, therefore we didn't feel the drive to do it? Or was it a chicken or egg situation of, like, maybe the podcast was something that was keeping us a little bit more connected because we had this sort of forced conversation around our love, and a reminder, because whether we have guests or whether we're just gushing over each other, we tend to gush over each other. People have maybe commented how much that we annoy them, and maybe people don't listen because of that. So that's fine. But the people listening to this are the people who kind of like love. They like hearing our love, and they also like, I think, appreciate the honesty of, like, that love sometimes is a choice. And that means that it's not that you're feeling it, the gushiness. So I think people appreciate the candor, as well as the genuine feelings of love that I like to think we put out into the world.
Do people really not like how much we like each other?
Of course we've had those comments.
Well, you know what I say. Is there a beep button? Beep you.
Anyway,
Close enough.
So I just wanted a couple other things, housekeeping, before we can move on to, this will be a bit of a short love portion. We really just wanted to catch everyone up.
Also, we're tired.
That too. So real quick, I wanted to say a thank you to some of the people. So while there are some people who hate us and don't like the gushiness of us and find us annoying and irritating, there are other people who like to listen to us, and there are people who have been asking, where the heck are you guys? So a specific shout out to everyone, but some names that I was thinking of right before we sat down to record that I know have reached out in the last 9 months. Russ, Sarah, and Emily, you three specifically, but everyone else who's thought it,
and Rachel
shared it. Thank you. Yes, you're right. See, this is my point. I knew I was going to forget some that have said things. So there are people who, wanted to hear from us, and we appreciate sincerely. If it is just those 4 people that we named, this podcast is worth it to me. And I'm not even kidding. I've gotten to that place where, there's a whole trend now of people with podcasts, because quote unquote, everybody has a podcast.
It's true.
That people are like, they do a podcast so that they can keep their friends up to date with their lives. And I feel like this has kind of become that. I would still love to share it with more people. I'd still love to grow our network of movie lovers. But, if it's only our friends that are actually caring, so be it.
Also, on the note of some people finding us annoying, I don't know why. I'm sure Nick told me this, but it's just now hitting me.
It's a bee in your bonnet. It's bugging you.
It's a bee in my bonnet. I was recently listening to one of my heroes, A.B. Poehler's podcast, and she said they were talking about just being a lot. And she said there's like only 2 kinds of people, really. You're either boring or you're, quote, annoying. Like how people kind of like categorize.
Too much kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And she's like, so wouldn't you rather be the more colorful one? The annoying, the, quote, too much? So you know what? At least we're not boring, bitches. Sorry, beep.
Yeah, that'll probably get us flagged, but I don't know if I'm editing that anymore. Anyway, so yeah, a couple of real quick things then, because because I wrote it down, okay, and just because, so we can do it what's the word I'm looking for, like rapid fire. Okay, so just hit me with your first responses of everything you think about with regards to Hayden.
Okay.
First Christmas.
Was it what?
Whatever comes to mind. First Christmas.
Santa Claus.
Not specific to him, but first birthday.
Mr. 305.
So should we explain that real quick? I do think this is something people will appreciate.
And Pitbull, I know you're listening, so Armando, reach out. Hayden was born on March 5th. I've said this probably plenty of times.
Yep.
I also happen to be a little into Pitbull, who is from Miami, who is Mr. 305. So Hayden was born on Pitbull Day. Therefore, his first birthday party, probably the only theme he will not be able to pick, because I'm sure next birthday party is going to be like bus themed. He loves buses.
Yep, that's accurate. I mean, if he picks it.
That wasn't a joke. That was real life.
I'm aware.
It was Pitbull themed.
Yep.
So we all had T-shirts with his face on it, but he was Pitbull. I had someone, shout out to Kelly, she made t-shirts for all of us, the whole family. It said Mama, Dada. We had cookies, shout out to Meg, who had Pitbull's face on it. It also said Mr. 305 and Dale. And my white ass family was like, who's Dale?
Is that his middle name?
And we had a giant Pitbull flag that was hung up in our living room. And we had a Pitbull cake, and we had disco balls, and it was a great time.
It was a blast. It was a good theme.
Yeah. We also had pink eye, but that's a whole different story.
Anyway, anything else you want to share with the movie lover nation, our listeners out there, Danielle, before we go on to talk about Freaky Friday?
Glad to be back, my friends.
Me too. And with that...
In love with movies. Da-da-da.
And we're back.
That's great. That was the shortest intermission we've ever had. I was eating a banana when we first started. And let me tell you, I was going to talk about this at the beginning, but you cut me off after I said I like watching my own teeth. The banana was never ending. Like, it truly felt like the longest frozen banana. And I kept looking down. I'm like, damn, there's more banana. And so now I just want to show every 2.5 people that's watching, this is what's left of my sad little banana.
Okay, well, those of us who are into mukbang, or if you know someone who likes mukbang, or if you want to post this on some mukbang website, if you're listening to this and you're not into it, but you just happen to know.
But I would like to get money for it if that's a thing.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we'll get some listeners. We'll get a whole other website. You know, some other people have branched out with regards to the content that they provide, and, you know, we could do the same.
So anyways, Nick, what movie are we talking about again?
Freaky Friday, Danielle.
Right. We really are rusty because I'm like, we actually have to talk about Freaky Friday. And this is...
I do have opening credits.
Oh, okay. But I was just going to tell you that this is literally the last page in my notebook, aside from one note that says trauma from COVID. We don't have to get into that.
Alrighty then. So...
Give us... In love with movies. Da-da-da.
Literally just pushed the button accidentally.
I know. Why are you pressing that button?
I don't know.
Nick.
I was trying to get to our opening credits. I'm just like cutting you off with cues so that I can...
I need a button for you then. Just walk around the house. That's enough. That's a long enough story.
All right. Freaky Friday came out in 2003, so we are more than 20 years away from it when the sequel is going to come out.
Exciting.
All right, it was directed by Mark Waters. Some people might know him from Ghosts of Girlfriends Past.
Good movie.
And Bad Santa 2. Not a very good movie, although I like the first. Writer Mary Rogers, who wrote the novel. I did not know this. Did you know that this is all based on a novel?
No.
Okay, so Mary Rogers is the writer of the novel Freaky Friday is based on. And then Heather Hatch, who didn't have a whole bunch of credits that I could notice. And Leslie Dixon, who is a writing credit on Mrs. Doubtfire, Pay It Forward, Limitless, and... Hairspray.
No wonder I like this movie so much. I was
just going to say the same. No wonder. So yeah, that's might be why this identifies as a movie that Danielle has like core memory for herself.
That's true.
It is starring, of course, the lovely Jamie Lee Curtis. If you don't know her, more recently she's popular in the Knives Out movie and also Everything Everywhere All at Once. And she's been, has been in a lot of movies for a very long time, so to speak.
If you don't know her, do you even watch a movie?
I mean, like 80s and 90s, she was a bit more of a sex symbol. And so, yeah, anyway. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan, we have covered specifically on this podcast before as Falling for Christmas. I think we did Mean Girls at one point. No? Okay, never mind. So. Which is also in Mean Girls, which has, memories for me. And Parent Trap, the remake from the late 90s, early 2000s
Did we cover
Disney.
That?
We have not covered Parent Trap. We have
not. This is what you're saying she's known for. I was like, we haven't covered any of those.
Yeah, no, Falling for Christmas we have.
Yes, and the Irish one.
Yeah, I don't remember what the Irish one was called. I'm sorry. Anyway, then we got Mark Harmon plays the sort of soon-to-be father-in-law, or not father-in-law, stepdad. So, I know him from an old 80s movie called Summer School. Really good flick. But most people probably know him from NCIS. And then, of course, the ever-popular Mr. Chad Michael Murray. I do believe he's going to be in the sequel, ladies. And if he's not, then you can certainly go check out The Merry Gentleman, which is the last movie that we covered on this podcast because it was back in November of last year.
And also, for Christmas, Nick got me a Chad Michael Murray calendar.
Oh my God, I totally forgot that. Yeah, you're right.
Where is that?
I can't answer that question. And then I feel like there was some decent shout outs for Christina Vidal. I think is how she pronounces her name. She's the best friend. I didn't really see anything that I knew her from.
Isn't she from Nickelodeon?
She might have been.
Taina? Is she Taina?
I don't know. You'd have to Google that. You're going to Google it? You're going to do some research? Okay. Otherwise, then we've got Stephen Tobolowsky, which I know we have covered Groundhog Day on this episode, or in this show before. He is the bald professor or teacher that she has. And in Groundhog Day, he's the annoying insurance salesman who's always coming across the street.
What about
Ned? Ned Ryerson?
Yeah, I forgot about that movie.
Okay. What about what?
The little brother.
Did not have him.
He's also like some Nickelodeon Disney
All right,
boy.
so Danielle's going to Google some more stuff, but before she does that, we do have to get to...
What do I do?
Time for Danny's Dingle.
Mother. Daughter. Contentious. Cuz teenager. New daddy-o? Not on my watch. I'm in a rock band. Fighty fighty. Rehearsal dinner. Cookie? A earthquake! I'm old! You have to find the way to right what's wrong, to get back to like each other again, to live in each other's shoes. You're it. You're the ultimate. Hey, don't mess up my vibe. Chad Michael Murray, inappropriate relationship. Into a cougar.
We're going to get into that.
Hit me, baby, one more time. Switch back. The end.
I love how you threw the rehearsal dinner in there at the beginning, and I was like, oh, okay, you're just going to give big highlights, and then you circled back to the Chinese restaurant is not their rehearsal dinner.
I know.
Okay.
But rehearsal dinner is the whole catalyst because of the band tryout is at the... Okay.
That's fair. Okay.
All right.
That's fair.
That was a good Daddy's Dingle.
My
brain works again.
Very good. Excellent Danny's Dingle.
Great. Thank you so much.
Very good. Yeah, so that's the summary of this entire show. But now we get to get into the specifics of it.
Wait, do we tell a love story?
Oh my goodness. See,
wasn't I supposed to do?
We're shaking off the rust. No, we do typically we do the love stories after, so that we can then lead into discussion. You're right.
Do you want to start with your love story, Nick?
Sure. I don't remember when I first watched this movie. I know I had seen it at least once, probably twice before we watched this together. 2003, I would have been in high school. I don't remember watching it in high school, but I feel like I probably just caught it on a DVD out of morbid curiosity at some point. So
2003, I was 11 years old, which is prime, 11, 12.
The audience for this.
Yeah. Teenage girl. Lindsay Lohan also was she and I are the same age. I think maybe she's a year or two older. She also just had a baby, and she's making a comeback. I'm so proud of her. She's looking great.
Very happy for the woman.
I think I saw this in theaters. I actually don't remember, and I don't remember never not watching it. I owned maybe 10 DVDs. We have them at our house.
Correct.
It's John Tucker Must Die, Hairspray, She's the Man, Miss Congeniality. Freaky Friday is one of those DVDs. So it is just one of my comfort movies. And I haven't watched it in a really long time because, I don't know. Why would I?
I think we watched it together once before this.
Yeah. But we've been together 11 years. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Turning it back on was turning on a warm blanket.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
If you turn on blankets.
Well, you sometimes turn on heated blankets.
I do.
So that actually leads really perfectly into an overall question I wanted to try and ask you at some point during this episode. Knowing that you have such a history with this movie, did it hit differently at all now that you have a kid and obviously can see yourself in a different role?
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll be a theme throughout our conversation then?
Yeah, probably. Well, it actually brought me back to being a teenager.
Okay.
And putting myself more in her shoes and then thinking of the mother more in Lindsay Lohan's shoes and then thinking of the mother, in a different way, but still I was still wishing I was in that teenage spot.
That's fair. I could see you longing for that. I mean, in some degree, that's sort of something that comes up in this too, like the mom, wishing she had her life ahead of her still kind of thing a little bit, not a primary theme, but yeah. Well, that's interesting to know because you're closer to the closer to the mother role at this point in your life than you were to.
Closer to. I am a mother.
Well, I mean specifically a teenage mother.
Yeah, yikes. I mean, I thought about things differently. Like, for example, her punishment, Lindsay Lohan's punishment. Sorry, Anna is her name. Is she loses her door. Her mom takes away her bedroom door.
That is not okay.
And so I thought about that in terms of like when I was watching it and I was Lindsay Lohan's age, I was like, what? That mom is a bitch. And then watching it again, I was like, would I ever take away Hayden's door? And then I thought, no, that was a really bitch move.
I would say, yes, okay, we can use slurs and sling them at her, but also just like for you to set up the concept for your child that having privacy is a privilege, I personally categorically disagree with that. I think privilege, having some semblance of privacy is a right. Like how much you get maybe is a conversation, losing some privileges, I definitely agree with as a punishment potentially, but like the idea that you're just not going to get a door and therefore as a teenager especially have no sense of privacy, you cannot have space to yourself, even though you've got like an annoying little brother and you've got your mom. Like that just sounds like a recipe for doing terrible things to the psyche of your child, in my opinion.
Yeah. So should I go through my step-by-step every single
Can we answer my questions first and then we can go step by step?
Oh, you have questions?
Questions.
Wow, Nick prepared.
So next question.
Okay.
And this is not like broad philosophical for you and your position and opinion. This is a actual, do you know the answer to this question? Because I don't. When the Chinese mom starts rambling in Cantonese with the cookie, is that supposed to be a spell? Like, is that like an actual, she's telling a spell? Or is that just supposed to be, random Cantonese that she's saying and that they don't understand?
I think she's so flustered. She's like, oh my gosh, the mom and the daughter are not getting along, and this is something that I need to fix. So I don't think it's an actual spell.
Okay.
I think it's her being like, I've been in this situation before. I know how to fix it.
Okay.
Did you think it was a spell? I could see it as a spell.
I wondered. Like, I truly wondered, and I was, like, watching to see and I didn't think I remembered seeing it, but I was watching to see if somebody was going to explicitly say it. Because there seems to be this, like, knowing looks between the Chinese mom and her daughter. Like, that they'd been through it, or that, the daughter knows about the mother chewing this. And
because she's like, mother!
Exactly. And so, like, I don't know if then it's, like, some incantation that she's just saying in Cantonese in her native language. I don't know. And by the way, I'm 90% certain I know it was Cantonese, not because I would recognize Cantonese versus Mandarin or anything else, but the subtitles that we were using said speaking in Cantonese.
Yes.
And then did you identify at all with the movie now or when you were younger? Do you think it was a big movie for you because the plot is around a mother trying to find love with other men?
With other men.
With someone other than a father who had passed, because that's obviously your history.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, my dad died in 2000, the year 2000. In 2003, my mom was dating. Actually,
I've just unlocked the secret for why this movie is such a big deal for you.
Danielle's. Trauma.
We have totally derailed this podcast. It's no longer reviewing this movie, and we are going to have to psychoanalyze my wife.
I'm trying to think when my mom got married to Frank. I think maybe in 2006. No, when I was 12. Well, yes.
So this would have been when they were like dating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Never even thought about that.
Wow.
Dang.
On some subconscious level, this is like the movie that identified and became baked into your being because of that piece, and you've never even thought of it before.
And I had an annoying little brother.
Shout out to David if he's listening. I love that it never occurred to you, because to me it seemed so obvious and on the nose that I almost didn't want to ask it, like, because you'd be like, of course.
No.
But for it to have never occurred to you is even better.
No, I think I just liked seeing myself. Oh, I was gonna say in characters, but like I always identify with Lindsay Lohan in every movie that she's in.
Uh-huh.
She was my gal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Maybe you're a Lindsay Lohan fan in all everything else just because of this.
No.
Okay.
The Parent Trap. Come on.
Fair enough.
Come on.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that was the only questions I had. We can get to your just
I
sort of
didn't-
overall, summary and going through the movie. What were the things that
Great.
stood out to you?
Okay, well, I will say I got chills in the opening credits or the opening scenes, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the music in this movie is impeccable, honestly, because it's like pop punk. I guess it's of the era, and it was my age. You know, I was really into pop punk at that time, but like
Yeah, but it was also like that was the thing for teenagers. I would give you, yeah.
yeah. So the opening song is "Imagine Me and You." I do. I think about it day and night. It's only right. But the pop punk cover of that song.
Yeah, well, that was one thing I think I put down here somewhere that I do think stands out is that a lot of the music is actually a pop punk version, pop punk version
Guys, we're tired.
of other popular songs. Like it's songs that people would know,
Mm-hmm.
which I think there's two things to that. One, they may have been able to save money because if you are paying royalties to the person who did the pop punk version, it's probably not as big and it's probably going to cost you less money than the original person. But two, it very much fits with it and fits with the aesthetic. And I think it did provided this sort of edginess, but like that song you were singing, for example, would have been much more her mom's generation song. So
Yeah.
it gives you that bridge too.
But I never learned that song until I was like,
Watching
I
this
can't
movie.
see me loving nobody but you for all my life.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
It's so good. Yeah, so I think I also remember me and Lizzie, if Lizzie's listening, we did choreographed dance to the song that doesn't make it in the movie, but it's at the credits, which is one of the best.
Real banger.
Yeah.
Give me that.
And I remember us listening to this CD. She had the CD, the soundtrack, over and over and over and over and over and over again. So the music got me. You know, I'm a music gal.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And then I wrote, the brother's a little brat. Dude,
My very first note is such punk bro energy. Like he truly deserves anything that comes at him in this movie,
he really is.
including
Total
the
dick.
like ridiculously tight underwear. That was hilarious how tight it was on his head.
I'm going to look up who it is because we got to give him his credit.
All right, that's
He
fair.
did
That's
a
fair.
really good job of being a little
While
jerk.
you are doing that, I will ask, what are your thoughts on Chad Michael Murray and his introduction and after the first time that he speaks to Lindsay Lohan's character,
Ryan Malgarini.
Ryan Malgarini. Okay.
He was on Mike and Molly, apparently. And don't worry, he will be in Freakier Friday.
Good. I'm very glad to see that he's getting to reprise the role. So I have a note here about that Chad Michael Murray literally meets her for the first time. Like they don't know each other's names. They have to introduce themselves to each other. And then tries to take her for a ride on his motorcycle. He's literally just like, hey, I don't know who you are. Do you want to hop on this dangerous machine with me and go real fast? Red flag. Red flag.
Yeah. But, you know, I got the sense that they had been in classes together. They've been around together.
Okay, so this opens up an excellent and a very important thing that we're going to need to discuss at some point. He says at some point, the reason he has the keys to the back closet later on in the movie when he has the ability to get her the test and they're going through the teacher's lounge, he says something about, I work here. And he says something like that to the mom, too. He's like, it's not what you think, I work here. So is he an employee of this school, or is he, in fact, a student? Because he does not seem to be going to classes.
I don't have an answer for you, Nick. All I know is he's a very hot man. And the first time we see him, he is wearing a Von Dutch shirt.
So, I got nothing to say on the fashion, but I feel like this is an important piece because it sounds like they were trying to make it like maybe it was originally written that he was in high school, but then to have Lindsay Lohan in her mother's body at certain points in the movie be a seemingly 40s or 50s-year-old woman going for what would have then therefore been a literal high school student might have been a little too creepy. So somebody on a rewrite was like, okay, we got to figure out a way where he's like close enough to Lohan's age that he's still her heartthrob, but he's not actually a high school student so that, you know, it's not that. He instead works at the coffee shop. He works at the school and these are his part-time jobs that he has. He just, is 19 or something like that. So that's why he's still close enough to Lindsay.
But I think he works in detention as like volunteer or like a school job. Like I think he's a senior and she's like a sophomore.
Okay, so then you think that a literal high school student is going after Mama Cougar later on, and that,
Yes.
that's what's happening.
At the beginning of this, I said this is a nearly perfect movie. I have one issue.
Okay. I didn't mean to derail the entire
That's okay,
conversation.
that's
Please
okay.
continue.
Yeah, Chad Michael Murray is wearing a Von Dutch shirt. It's important for the era. He also just carries around an extra helmet in his bag. So, to your point, clearly that's his shtick. He's like, hello,
It's like
pretty
his
girl.
thing. Yeah.
I happen to have this extra helmet in my backpack, so it's safe. I guess you're right. He's actually a creep.
Thank you. I'm like, no matter how you look at this, whether it is looking at him going after the high school student where he works, or is a high school student going after the, like, either way, this is not a dude that should be okay. Red flags.
Yeah. But then his hair.
And he does look sexy on that bike.
Oh, goodness gracious, Chad. Chad.
This is getting really ahead of the game, but it's because we're on the Chad topic. The ways that he just, like, he's pining after the mom for so long. Like, the justification of him originally being attracted to Lindsay Lohan's character makes sense. Then you have the, like, sort of, he meets the mom and you sort of see how he would be attracted to her. Makes sense.
For her brain.
For her brain, sure. Which we know, obviously, is him actually being attracted to Lindsay Lohan, which is why the whole thing works and why it makes sense. But then his turn from, like, he has zero interest when the mother / Lindsay Lohan, like, has him out in front of the house, hiding him from the fiance, and, like, she kisses him, the mom kisses him in Lindsay's body, but he seems practically disgusted by this fact. And then just the next time we see him, basically, after the concert, he's like, yeah, I am into you, forget your mom. Based on what?
Again,
What from that man's perspective changed?
Nearly perfect movie. Maybe they also, this is a short, sweet movie. Maybe there was more. And they were like, we got to cut something.
That's
gotta
fair.
Make it 90 minutes.
That's fair. Okay, so you had the DVD. DVDs used to have deleted scenes. Do you recall any deleted scenes that might enlighten this conversation?
No, we got to go back and watch. We will report back.
All right. Well, we'll put a pin in that for later.
I also looked up on IMDb Christina Vidal. I was right. She was Taina.
Okay, good. I don't know what that show is.
Apparently it only ran for 1 year. I had no idea, but I loved it. I'm going to see my name in lights.
She was one of those people that, like, I feel like she just stands out. She's, I think, just, like, attractive and, like, in a sort of alluring quality. Not, like, even just, like, physically attractive, but she's one of those people that, like, turns heads. She's got Riz, as the kids would say these days,
The kids say that?
They probably did 5 years ago. But, she has that, and I feel like she's one of those people that just seemed like she existed within my awareness when I was younger. But when I scrolled through IMDb, there was nothing that stood out as like a, I know her from something big kind of thing. That's a reference to a Star Trek podcast for those of you who are TNC fans.
In my head, she was a cheetah girl, but...
Maybe that's what I thought she was. Anyway, but I appreciate you giving that shout out to her. Yeah, he's a creepy dude. He's a creepy dude no matter how you look at it. And I will be very curious to see how he plays into, like, is he who Lindsay Lohan is married to? Does he come back up? Is he still got the hots for now grandma Jamie Lee Curtis? I'm very, very curious to see how all this plays out.
Yeah. But every time, except for this time, now that I'm, like, full adult, when I watch this, I never thought he was creepy. So he does a great job. It's just
fair
his
enough. He's
storyline
a charming
is creepy.
dude. He's a charming dude.
It's
the writing, not the acting, that makes him
Yeah.
creepy. That's for sure.
I will say the other thing I wrote is it's a bit dated. There's like a couple of references to like suicide and stuff, which is like okay.
Yeah, just played for like too much of a joke, as if it was not a serious topic. For sure.
Yeah. Then they so you get a day in the life of mom, daughter. Why do you always try to ruin my life?
Speaking of day in the life, so this includes like breakfast around the table, blah, 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 blah. You've got the fiance, mere days away from marrying into this family, who has evidently not stayed the night. Does not seem to stay the night.
He's being respectful.
Do you think that's what it is? I mean,
Yeah.
he does seem to be a very patient dad, but they seem to have been dating for a very long time, and it does
No.
not seem like there's sleepovers.
The dad just died 2 years ago.
Okay.
They mentioned that. That's why she was like sad about it because it was so fast.
Sure. Yeah, I guess that is a pretty quick turnaround. I still feel like that's a long enough time that if you've gotten close enough to the point where you're going to get married, that maybe.
This guy's a good dude.
He is a good dude, and that's what I was going to say. Do you think it was one of those things where, you know, the mom was kind of just like, I'm worried that would trigger my kids. Let's not do that until we've tied the knot, because then at least there's that like justification for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, then I can get past that.
So then, yeah, day in the life, you realize they have a little bit of a dysfunctional family. The mom is a therapist. Her clients have tough problems, and she is one of those therapists who sits there and says, and how does that make you feel? And you only know that because she gives instructions to Lindsay Lohan the next day on how to do her job. But you can tell, again, as being a mom now and having been in a professional career for a while, I'm like, oh, this mom is hella stressed out.
Sure.
Her job is tough, and then she has to come home and make all the dinners and do all the things and prepare for her big day. And her father's in town, and her father is wacky, but I love him.
Yeah, there are some moments that definitely could edge on creepy with him. Like, I have this moment of, it is such an amazing joke. Like, genuinely laughed when Grandpa comes into the room and hugs the wrong girl from behind. Like, I could totally see how that'd be creepy, but, like, for me, I think it was just lighthearted fun, and everything that happens for him is just, like, goofy silliness, and, yeah, but he's an oddball for sure.
Yeah. And then you get to see Lindsay Lohan's perspective and how her band is actually, like, so good. And so they just got this opening to audition the very next day for something. Some big thing.
Yep. It sounded like they could get a record deal out of it, specifically.
Yeah. And that song that they play in the garage is so good. Yeah. Get out. There's no wrong, there's no doubt. There's no wrong, there's no right. It's all the same to you. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
It goes on and on and on and on. Go listen to the soundtrack. It's very good. Their band name is Pink Slip. And Pink Slip played at the premiere of Freaky Friday 2. Did you know that? Freakier Friday, whatever.
Did not know that.
And Chad Michael Murray and Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis are all rocking out to it. And Lindsay Lohan...
Wait, hold on. You said Pink Slip performed.
Yeah.
So wait, is Pink Slip a real band?
No, it's Christina Vidal and the other gal.
So how was Lindsay Lohan rocking out to it?
She did not perform in it.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
But Lindsay Lohan, to the UK premiere, obviously my algorithm knows that I love this movie. She wore a remake, elevated version of her final purple dress that when she performs at her mom's wedding.
Okay.
Cool. So anyways, you see the day in the life, then they go to this Chinese restaurant. The Chinese restaurant owner, the daughter, very much knows this family, clearly. She knows them, and she says she wants to be their caterer for their wedding, which is in 2 days.
It seems like they come here like at least once a week.
Yeah.
And yeah, still trying to plug in for the caterer 2 days later. That's wild.
The daughter cracks me up, though. The owner daughter, she always points to her nose. She goes, how about me? How about me? As your caterer. How about me?
Don't forget me.
How about me? And then they have this whole earthquake. Nothing happens. They just read a fortune. And then they wake up in each other's bodies. And you know what? There's a lot of brilliant staging in this. Because in the opening credits, Jamie Lee Curtis is trying to pull Lindsay Lohan out of bed. And she holds on to the rafters. And then when it happens the next day, Lindsay Lohan pulls Jamie Lee Curtis out of bed. And she holds on to the, not rafters. You know what I'm talking about? The headboard.
Yep.
That's very funny. They also think their mom is dead.
Yeah, that part was funny, actually. Like, mom's dead! Because clearly the mom, like, sleeps in a very specific position, is always up quickly, and yeah.
And I think from the beginning where they, like, body swapped, each of those actresses does such a good job playing each other.
1,000%.
I believed it.
1,000%.
Every single one of it, I believed it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, even, like you said, the body language when they're sleeping and they roll over, it's so good. Then they live a day in the life opposite. So this movie is only 2 days long. 3 days.
Yep.
It's really quick.
I have a note about when they first swap bodies and they're living in each other's lives.
I'd love to hear it.
So eventually, Lindsay Lohan in her mom's body chooses to go on a shopping spree. I am very intrigued at how quickly she goes from I'm old to completely ready to be looking for several outfits that fit that woman's body, her mom's body, not her own, but fit her mom's body. She's buying multiple outfits that she's like, yeah, I look good in this. I look good in this. I'm like, do you not think you're ever going back? What is going on? The ear piercing I get. That's like, I'm going to piss off my mom.
Cuts all her hair
yeah,
off
like
too.
those are things that I'm like, okay, I know you're just doing this, but like to buy multiple outfits and is like checking herself out at different times. And she's like, yeah, I look good. And I'm just like, oh, you did a quick 180 there in terms of accepting your mother's body as yours.
Well, maybe she thought she was in there forever. And
Okay.
the other answer is she pulled out her credit card and she realized she had unlimited money. So you're saying she should be buying outfits for Lindsay Lohan's body, not mom body.
Yes. Like, I would be like, when you have unlimited funds to buy lots of things that are going to make it, buy them for the body you're expected to be back into. That's what I would have expected.
I still think it was cool.
I mean,
think
don't get me
Jamie
wrong,
Lee
it makes
Curtis
for a
is
nice
cool.
montage, and Jamie Lee Curtis does look banging in a lot of those outfits, but I'm just saying, it made no sense to me. Didn't make sense. Logic failed me there.
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to suspend logic for this movie.
Disagree.
A fortune cookie.
Nope. Totally could happen.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Real life.
So then Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan, mom as daughter as mom, has to go to parent-teacher conferences also in the middle of the day. And she finds out
where the daughter is at school. Like,
yeah. And she finds out her little brother actually loves her as a sister. So he's totally a jerk. He like flicks her ear, keeps getting her in trouble, ruins her music. But she's his hero.
yeah, he like genuinely talks about, why would I want to change it? Like, that's our dynamic. It just works perfectly. I mean, we're always ragging on each other, and it's like, you could tell he thinks it's all a big joke.
Yeah. But before that, I wrote this down. Jamie Lee Curtis does such a good job where he's like, she makes him walk to school, and he goes, well, what about bullies? She goes, run fast.
That was a really good line and a fantastic delivery.
Yeah. So then, Anna realizes her brother's not that bad, and he is getting bullied.
Yeah, like genuinely seems to be.
He's being picked on, and so she takes him under her wing, and they love each other. So that was one relationship fixed.
Okay, relationship fixed.
And then when mom is in high school, because she couldn't live a day in her life, I wrote, that's just cringy. Like, her mom's such a do-gooder, but also cheats. Well, she didn't cheat on the test. The bad girl, Stacy, I think her name is,
Framed her for cheating.
so she erases all her answers on like a statewide assessment. Yikes.
Yeah,
And
that is.
then she wrote, I'm stupid. And then Chad Michael Murray sees that, and he's just like, he gets over it at the end again. He's like, yeah, you're a really bad person, but your mom's hot. So
Yeah, that does seem to be his explanation and justification.
no, actually, when his turn is? When she plays her guitar solo that she's not even playing.
And if he was into music, he could definitely tell that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wrote, some parts are just so cringy, but that's what makes this movie good, is because they're believable.
I don't know if something being cringe makes it automatically a believable thing.
Okay. All right. Whatever. But if I were the fiance, I'd be very concerned. Jamie Lee Curtis just stops kissing him.
He is a very, very understanding man.
very patient man.
Like, truly, between this movie and NCIS, I'm like, oh, I get it why middle-aged women like have a thing for this man, because he is handsome. He's a handsome dude, and then just he plays these characters that are just like so common. Actually, come to think of it, he's pretty much kind of this character in Summer School as well. But he's just like understanding, very patient, like gonna meet her where she is. He does sort of firmly express like, this thing that you're doing is starting to concern me, but the moment like passes, and he's like, okay, as long as we're on the same page again.
Yeah, I'd do him.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go through school. They realize, holy cow, my mom, my daughter, we do have it kind of hard. It's not as easy as I thought. I should have more empathy and understanding. But the real turn is when there's the rehearsal dinner.
Bum, bum, bum.
But Lindsay Lohan needs to go try out for making the band, whatever tiara. I don't know what she's trying out for. Before that, I'm all over the place. When Chad Michael Murray comes to their house to try to serenade Jamie Lee Curtis, who's about to get married tomorrow. And he sings, "Hit me, baby, one more time."
Poorly, I might add.
And at that point, Lindsay Lohan tackles him.
That
We
was
both
funny.
laughed out loud.
Yes.
That's an iconic moment.
A
in that
loud
movie.
chortle in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain moments that make me want to go watch this movie right now, or just those moments at the very least.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
So then, Mom goes to play the guitar very poorly, very cringily, and then Lindsay Lohan, as Mom, plays from behind the scenes, and then they run back, and then they both give a sweet little speech about how much they love each other and accept each other, and then bam!
And I need to have another note here about Harmon's character and how understanding he is, because I love how, like, he kind of points out, and again, calmly, but he's like, says, "I'm really offended that you think I would want to be that guy, that you think I want to be that stepdad, that you think that you've been putting me in the position of the bad guy. You need to go." And not only does he say, you need to let her go to her, go play her concert, but he also says, like, it's right around the corner, you said, "I will cover for you, Mom, for 20 minutes to go watch your daughter." That is stellar, dude. Like, I am not personally physically attracted to men, but I would happily spend the rest of my life with him if I was not,
Yes.
already committed.
Very, very good dude.
Yeah.
And so then they do a little switcheroo back.
Yep.
All's well that ends well.
Earthquake happens, and this time everybody actually sees it and feels it because it happens in the middle of... He looks over and he's like, "Should I know something about that or whatever?" She's like, "Nah, don't worry about it. It was just a giant earthquake. No big deal."
So then Chad Michael Murray, like you said, falls in love with Lindsay Lohan again for no reason, I guess.
Yep.
Because he doesn't like her, but she plays guitar. And then he comes to the wedding because Mom invited him, and they kiss.
They sure do.
And then Pink Slip plays. "You're it. You're the ultimate."
I would like you to verify these two. So, one note, so many great punk covers. Next note, the tackle of Chad Michael Murray is great. Just great minds.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Also, this movie is great. There are so many parts that are just like, and enjoyable.
The idea, though, and this is one of the unbelievable things that took me out of it a little bit.
Oh, no.
Before it is approved and they're going to go next door and play the band, her friends show up and literally duct tape her
They do.
in an effort to kidnap her. That is wild.
Yeah.
I'd literally forgotten that was a thing until I saw that note, and I was like, whoa, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little dated. People are a little aggressive. I also, one other note, and I know you were crying too. The toast between the mother and the daughter made us both cry.
Yeah, it got
I looked
me.
over, I was like, why am I crying
It got me a
so
little bit.
hard? It's just about love. Loving each other, loving your family,
Yes.
understanding each other in tough times.
Yes.
It got us. I don't think I've ever cried at Freaky Friday, but now as an adult with a kid, you're like, dang it.
Yeah, there's lots of things that hit differently. Like, I've been watching episodes of Invincible, and for those of you who've been watching the most recent season, you'll know that there's a character who is a superpowered being who accidentally, in fighting Invincible, kills his own family.
Whoa,
And-
spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry. Bald. Had to, like, turn it off. And there's been other things that are just, like, lots of things in the world now hit me very, very differently
Yeah,
as
for
a
sure.
father. So,
It's rough.
all right. Well, then I think that's everything, Danielle, except for our final words about our feelings on the movie.
Are we going to watch the trailer?
Do you still want to do that? Do we want to do that?
Yeah, we can watch the trailer.
Okay, so then in that case, because it's going to take me having to set up a little bit before we can actually do that, well, let's first, for the first movie, Freaky Friday, provide our heart ratings and would you renew your vows?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's out of 5 hearts.
Yes.
Listeners, for
You
those who
did
don't
say
know.
a almost perfect movie.
That's right. Your heart rating is a a truly objective.
It's supposed to be, even though we've had like 10,000 out of 5 hearts. So
of the movie, and then renewing your vows is what you watch this again. So this is a 8 out of 5. It's an 8 out of 5.
8 out of 5.
Yeah, that's how good it is. It's not a 10 out of 5. I really enjoyed this movie. It brings me joy. It brings me giggles. It brings me bops. You're it. You're the ultimate. And would I renew my vows? Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Duh.
I figured. I will be willing to give it even a 4 out of 5. I don't know if I'm being generous or if I've gotten softer than what I once was. But I do like it. It's far from perfect, but it's a solid B as far as I'm concerned. So 4 out of 5. And in terms of renewing vows, I'll probably see it again. But mostly because you'll, be wanting to, or it'll be on, or I could see us doing someday a double feature once the sequel, if it's any good, is on, streaming.
Yeah, I hope it's good.
I do too. We're gonna, as we've alluded, we're gonna watch the trailer here in a second. But other than that, I would say, yeah, it's yeah. I would renew my vows because of those reasons. Okay. All right. I got thrown off with
We're tired.
I got thrown off. I was trying to just get to the ratings, and then you're like, are we doing this? And I've got to do the ratings one first. Anyway, okay.
Right.
So now, all right, we are going to take another quick break, and then you're going to get an extra segment here at the end where we're going to watch the trailer for Freakier Friday, which neither one of us has seen at this point.
Because it doesn't exist in the real world yet.
It's on YouTube. How else are we going to watch it?
No, I meant it's... Oh, we haven't seen the trailer. Never mind. I thought you meant the movie. In love with movies. Da-da-da.
All right. So here is our live reactions to Freakier Friday.
Morning.
Happy wedding week. You have a lot on your plate.
Check
Let
with
us
them.
know how we can help.
Maybe someone could help me write my wedding vows.
How about this? I, Anna, take you, Eric, a man whose daughter is a little demon thing with an obnoxious accent.
Oh, it's two different daughters from the... Okay.
Oh, she's British.
Schedule in it.
So it's not Chad
My
Michael
bachelorette
Murray.
party. It'll be good bonding for everyone.
Very curious to see
You
how
two
CMM is
are
in this
called
then.
to be family.
Yeah, right.
Don't remind me.
You've walked in each other's path. You learned a lesson that may serve you again.
Okay, that's enough.
They're like, don't do that.
Right over there is a QR code that you can tip me with. Change the hearts you know are wrong to reach the place where you belong.
Oh my God, what is happening? Okay, it's who am I? It's me. It's Mom. If you're me and I'm you, then who's that? I'm Grandma, sweetheart. Last time, we convinced everyone that we were each other until we switched back.
I didn't want to be a part of this family, and now I'm part of some dodgy
I'm
family
very
curse.
interested by
And I'm
like
the eldest?
the dynamic
As
of
teenagers,
this
we have
person
no
not
power,
actually being in the
but
family, but
as
now being
adults, we can break
roped
our
into
parents
this.
up for good.
Oh, they're gonna try and break up the parents.
All you have to do is reunite
Very.
her with
Oh,
her first
yes.
Good. Big moves. Bite your lip. Not your top lip, your bottom lip.
I know what this is. You're having a stroke.
No, I just need to go to the bathroom. I was really
Jamie Lee
bad at that.
Curtis.
So bad at that. Any other ideas? Let's just get back out there.
Okay, so
Otherwise, hoping I'm
CMM is
pooping.
back into it.
Too late.
John Michael Murray's back into it because he's the one that they're like going to go try and restart the fling to break them up. Okay. This tracks.
Nice car.
It's totally mine.
She thinks you're cute.
I do not.
Yes, she does.
I do.
She so does.
Dr. Coleman? That's my therapist.
So they're playing younger girls, and then the younger girls are playing Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is very interesting. I'm like intrigued by that whole new dynamic of, there's like a lesson to be learned here of bonding together as we join our families. But the fact that that person is being sort of just roped into this then otherwise 3-generation mix up, I'm like wondering why or what was going on that kind of hinted at it maybe that like they needed to relearn the lesson that they'd learned from Freaky Friday. presumably by, you know, Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis being in the teenage girls' bodies and going through their own journeys of having to like navigate high school together this time. That maybe that's what brings them back together. But I'm like, I'm curious to know, like, why is it, you know, not just the girls, for example, the teenage girls swapping lives or something like that? I mean, aside from it just makes it better when you get to have Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis pretending and acting to be. Yeah. But, you know, like, the storyline is to the justification. I'm very much more intrigued and excited to see it now than I was even.
I can also tell that the music, like, do you see my goosebumps? First of all, you start with Chappell Roan.
Yeah,
but then did you hear the, from Pink Slip?
I did not. I'm going to be honest. I did not.
I did not
catch that.
Into the, it's going to be good. And then Chad Michael, ugh. I'm excited. I don't know who that man is that she's supposed to marry. I've never seen him before.
I don't know either. We'll have to find out.
And I'm guessing those kids are probably in some things that we don't watch.
I know that I recognize one, if not both of them, from
maybe
things.
like a zombie or something.
Yeah, one of those iZombie movies, or no, like the non-British one definitely stands out as a face that I've seen in things before, but I would have to Google to be sure, IMDb it to be sure.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
All right.
Though.
Well, maybe we'll tag on a response or reaction once we get to go see this movie as well, and we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, though, this is the end of the episode. Thank you, listeners, for sticking with us. Thank you for those of you especially who've been calling for us to be there. Please, now that we are back, be sure to like share us widely. You can find us on socials at In Love with Movies. That's at the letter N, Love with Movies. We are on Instagram. We technically are still on that thing called Twitter or X or whatever. So yeah, I think Instagram's the best place to follow us there for that. And then you can follow me at Nick Loves Movies, NICLUV Love. And that is good for me on both Instagram and Blue Sky is where I'm hanging out these days.
Yeah. And I'm mostly on Instagram at Dani Miami 4. You can also come to my shows. I'm back doing comedy, baby. Once a month, she in a show.
All right. Well, other than that, movie lovers, I love you, Dani.
I love you, Nick.
And we love you, movie lovers.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. In love with movies, in love, in love,
Dani and Nick.
in love with movies. Da-da-da.
I literally forgot how to do everything.